Hey, I'm Adam Armstrong from thenewalpha.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about why health is key to being successful in this life. So I want to start by saying that I'm sure you'll agree with me that there are like three big areas where most people want to be successful, or if they haven't thought about it, there's three big areas where most people should focus their efforts if they want to be successful and feel happy and fulfilled in life. And those three areas would be like the health and physical body, like your financial success, your financial status, and relationship and love life. You've got those three key areas like health, wealth, love. Most people understand that. And the truth is that a lot of people end up achieving quite a lot of success in one of those areas. Like they may become extremely financially wealthy, but at the expense of their health. Like they put all their focuses into building a lot of wealth, maybe starting their own business, building that business year on year, and they do great, they're worth loads of money. But then by a certain age, let's say 40, 50 or 60, whatever it is, they're burnt out. Or worse still, they have a disease. Maybe they have a heart attack or they get cancer or something, because they've neglected their health. And likewise, the same kind of person maybe completely neglects their relationship. Maybe they have a wife and three kids, but the reality is they don't really see much of the three kids or the wife because they spend all the time running a business. And, just to be politically correct, I should say that it could be the woman running the business and the guy looking after the kids. But you get the point. It's like, not a lot of people find this balance between health, wealth and love. But I'm here to tell you that the truth is that if you want as much financial success in your life and you want as much relationship success in your life, if you want your love life to be as good as possible, your relationship with your kids to be as good as possible, all your relationships to be as good as possible, but particularly that family unit, you have to maximize your health. Because when you have a high level of health, you tend to have a high level of energy. And when you have a high level of energy, you tend to be very productive, or at least you have the potential to be very productive. Don't get me wrong, you can have a lot of energy and not be productive if you don't know the right productivity strategies. And I'll talk to you about productivity another day because it's something I've studied and become rather good at over the years. But right now, just take the point that if you're very healthy, you'll have a higher level of energy, and therefore you can be productive, and that productivity can be useful or translated into money, either by furthering your career or starting a new business and building that up, or just like getting headhunted, moving to a different company, whatever it is. You need to be a productive person to have financial success. And the same, it's not quite as obvious with your love life as to why having a high level of energy is good, but I mean, let's give an example. If you have kids, how are you going to run around with your kids and be a great father or a great mother if you don't have a lot of energy? You're not going to be able to do it. How are you going to run around with your kids if your joints hurt? Maybe you have energy, but your joints are painful. How are you going to run around and play with your kids? How are you going to roll around on the floor? You're not going to be able to do it. Let's talk about the bedroom. How are you going to have a good sex life? How are you going to have great sex and how are you going to have regular sex if you have no energy? It's not going to happen. So you're starting to see how health is key. Having a high level of health is key because it gives you energy, it can make you productive, and that energy can translate and that productivity can translate into your financial success and the success of your love life and relationships. Now, I want to tell you about a period of time in my life where my health was poor, and then I'll tell you about now and the differences in terms of my finances and my relationships. So when I was, let's say I was 25, I'm not good at remembering numbers, but let's say I was 25, I was either 24 or 25. I was working in the property industry, so I didn't have an online business, I wasn't teaching men about women and sex. I worked in the property industry, and I went through a really stressful period where I was managing a bunch of houses, and it was one problem after another. It was like either the tenant not paying the rent, or the tenant's broken the bed or broken the door, or the lock's just not working, or the house is nearly burnt down, no joke, 2 house fires in like 2 years. It was a really stressful period of time. And during that same period of time, I completely neglected my health. Like, I didn't drink any water, I ate terrible food. Like, when I say terrible food, I don't even mean like I was just, buying a sandwich from a store and not making stuff at home. I was just eating sweets and chocolate and God knows what else. It was really not good. I never smoked and I never drank much alcohol, but I was eating really bad food and I was super stressed. And the end result was I gave myself a stomach ulcer. Notice that I say I gave myself a stomach ulcer. I don't buy into this whole, you had a bacteria or you didn't do anything wrong, it was just bad luck bullshit. I gave myself a stomach ulcer caused by stress and bad diet. Now, a stomach ulcer is bad enough. If you've never had one, basically it can cause like a really intense burning pain in your stomach. And, it's like one of those things where if you don't eat, it can hurt. If you eat, it can hurt. If you eat the wrong thing, it can hurt. So basically all day long, you've just got this pain in the middle of your body. And there's something about pain in the middle of your body that's worse than like if you hurt your fingernail or your toe. There's something about pain in the middle of the body that you just can't ignore. It's there all the time. And basically things went from bad to worse because I had the stomach ulcer and then the stomach ulcer bled. Now, I won't bore you with the gory details, but when a stomach ulcer bleeds enough over a period of time, which mine did, you end up in a situation where you don't have much hemoglobin. Basically, they do a blood test and they see that your hemoglobin's low. And that explains why you feel dizzy. And it actually got to the point where I got out of bed one day and I couldn't stand up. I got out of bed, I stumbled forwards, hit my forehead on the door frame and fell down. And I got up and I was like bleeding from the forehead. And that's when my girlfriend at the time said to me, I think you better go to the hospital. And I went to the hospital, which is something I completely hate doing and I wouldn't do these days, but I did back then. We're going back, nearly 10 years. Went to the hospital, they did some tests, diagnosed I had this stomach ulcer. And anyway, they're trying to give me these drugs to fix the stomach ulcer, but I'm sat there in hospital and I'm like, the shit's hit the fan here. I'm basically a useless human being right now. I can't even stand up. I've got no energy. I'm unable to get anything done. I couldn't do my job. I wasn't spending time with my family. So I was basically a useless human being at this point in time. And this is when I started reading about health. I'm sat there in the hospital and they're like temporarily putting me on these drugs. And I'm thinking, I'm not taking those drugs when I get out of here. I'm going to figure out how to heal this stomach ulcer on my own. And not only that, I'm not just going to figure out how to stop it bleeding and make the pain go away. I'm going to figure out how to become very, very healthy and figure out how to send my energy levels through the roof without doing what most people do today, which is constantly spiking their energy levels with refined sugar and caffeine in the form of coffee or energy drinks. I won't name brands, but you know the energy drinks I'm talking about. That kind of energy is a fake energy, and if you rely on those things, refined sugar and caffeine, to give you energy, sooner or later you'll burn yourself out. Because if you notice, like coffee drinkers, they start off with one coffee and they feel great, and then after a period of time, whether it's 6 months or 6 years, all of a sudden they're on 12 cups of coffee a day. Because over time, your body becomes desensitized to the caffeine. Just like people who drink alcohol, over time they can build up a tolerance. And where they used to get drunk on 3 drinks, now it takes 13 drinks. And of course, 13 drinks do a lot more damage to your body than 3 drinks. So anyway, stimulants like caffeine and sugar are not the way. That just because you feel high energy, but you're addicted to stimulants and sugar, that's not health. Anyway, let's go back to my story. So I'm there in hospital. I got this bleeding stomach ulcer. I feel like shit. I got a ton of pain in the middle of my body. I can't really even stand up for a couple of days until things sort of even out a bit and they stop the bleeding. And I read on health. I studied what to drink. I studied what to eat. I learned more about exercise. I learned more about sleep. And I went away and I applied these principles. And I didn't go from feeling like shit to feeling amazing overnight. It took a few months. But once I really reclaimed my health, and I say reclaimed because most of us are born reasonably healthy and then we fuck ourselves up. So at some point in time as a kid, like most kids, I didn't have any health issues, but then we fuck ourselves up. So once I reclaimed my health that I was born with, I started to become very productive. And I realized that one aspect for me of becoming healthy was stopping doing the job that I hate. So I said, right, I'm not going to work in the property industry anymore. And I got out of that job because it was killing me, literally. I mean, that stomach ulcer, they describe it as a medical emergency and they start telling you it can turn into stomach cancer and all this crap. Like they try and scare you. I hate that fucking industry. But anyway, that's that. So I got out of that job and I didn't know what to do with my life. But fortunately, I met a guy who's now one of my best friends called Simon. And we were talking one day like guys do about women. We went out for a couple of drinks. I'm there drinking water. And funnily enough, he doesn't drink either. So we must look like a couple of weirdos in the bar. But anyway, that doesn't matter. So we're talking about women and sex. And he says to me, you should really teach guys about this. And I said to him, well, what do you mean? And he explained to me how I could take what I'd learned about women and sex and translate it into ebooks and audio courses and write blog posts and email newsletters and help guys all over the world with this. And I did. I turned it into a business. But the interesting thing was, because I'd reclaimed my health and I had really high energy, and I already knew something about how to be productive. I'm naturally a very productive person. But then I learned more about how to be productive. Well, I started doing things that quite frankly, most people could only dream of. I was like writing 10,000 word reports in 3 days. And just this week, as I'm filming this, I've just written a 20,000 word report and it took me less than a week. Now, I know university students who complain at the end of like 3 years of uni because they have to do a 10,000 word dissertation and they got 6 months to do it. Now, I know it's not exactly comparable because a lot of my work is based on my experience, it's based on results, and theirs is based on looking at theory in textbooks by people who've maybe never produced any results and they have to write down where they got the information. So I understand it's not a direct comparison, but the point is, a lot of these university students are like living this lifestyle where they sleep badly, they eat badly, they drink too much alcohol, maybe they smoke, maybe they do drugs, so they got no energy, no real energy. Then they're relying on sugar and coffee and caffeine and energy drinks to give them energy. And then when the university says, hey, we need you to write a 10,000 word essay, which I appreciate if you don't know what 10,000 words is like, but it's not that much. They shit the bed. They're like, oh my God, this is so hard. I relish that. I love that. When I sit down and I know I've got 10,000 words to write or 20,000 words to write, I relish it. Now, how does having this health and this energy and this productivity relate to my financial success and my, the success of my relationships and my relationships with my fiance and my kids? Well, when I was working in the property industry, I earned a reasonably decent income, but it wasn't very much. It was somewhere above average, but not that much above average, and I paid a big price for that. A stomach ulcer and no health and feeling like shit, and probably somewhere close to being depressed because I knew that I didn't have a mission in life. And then as soon as I found this mission in life to teach men about women and sex, and now that mission's evolved more into teaching men how to be great men in general, although the women and sex is always there because it's why I like teaching best. But now that I've got that mission in life, my income is considerably higher. And I don't need to talk about numbers, but it's like night and day. It's completely night and day. It's completely revolutionized my financial life to the point where I don't really have to worry about money, And I know what it's like to worry about money. I know how most people live. I know what it's like to question every penny that you spend. And it's no fun. If people are being honest, it's no fun to have to question every penny that you spend. So that helped me, the health and energy and productivity helped my finances, no doubt. It helped me set up the new business, and it helped me get it set up in terms of being able to create content like ebooks and audio courses, and also learn all these new skills because I knew nothing about computers back then. So I had to learn all about computers, then all about the internet. It let me do all of that. If I didn't have health and energy, I wouldn't have been able to do all that. I mean, sure, I could have carried on eating sugar and I could have started drinking coffee. And maybe I'd have got away with it till I was 30 or 40 or 50, whatever. But at some point in time, it would have caught up with me. So anyway, how did improving my health and gaining more energy improve my, my sex life and my relationship with my fiance and also the relationship I have with my kids? Well, I'll put it to you like this. I run a successful business with my business partner, helping thousands of men every week to improve their sex lives and improve the man they are. And I also have a lot of passions. I have my golf, which I play regularly. I do my strength training 3 to 5 times a week. I've also got 2 young kids who are 1 and 3. And if you've got kids, you'll know that 1 and 3-year-olds require a lot of input. And somehow I managed to do all those things to a higher level. I think I'm doing well as a father. My golf's improving. My strength training is going well. Business is going well. And I managed to do all of those things where many people can only do one thing. I know of golfers who've got down to a good level of golf, but it's cost them three marriages. They've got 2 kids who don't speak to them, and it's cost them like nearly £1 million in divorces over the years. And likewise, I do know people who've done very well in business who have no health. They've got to 45 and they feel like they're going to drop dead. Well, what's the point? And this all leads back to this point that health is the key to being a successful man and indeed a successful woman in this world. No health, no matter how good you get with your finances, they won't ever be as good as they can be if you prioritize your health. No health, relationships will be bad, sex life will be bad. Or even if you somehow manage to make your relationships and sex life good, they won't be as good as they could be if you had health. And here's the thing, if you don't have your health, you won't live as long, most probably, and you're not going to enjoy it as much along the way. And another thing to consider is that we're in this society now where it's really unfashionable to say that people need to take personal responsibility for the things that are happening in their lives. And when it comes to health, we're not encouraged to take any personal responsibility by the system. I mean, I know your system in America is different to our system in England, but here in England, like, there's no emphasis if you go see a doctor on, look, the reason why you're suffering from this is because you got this shitty lifestyle. Please can you change this shitty lifestyle so that you don't suffer this again? There's none of that. It's just like, go to the doctor, tell them what your problem is, they give you some pills or drugs, or you get sent to a specialist and maybe have surgery. That's all they know, or that's all they're willing to push. I'm here to tell you that life is much more satisfying if you learn how to take care of your own health and you prioritise it and you work on it every single day. Because the reality is that once most people get into their mid-20s, or definitely into their mid-30s and 40s, if you don't work on your health, you will not be anything like the person you were when you were 18. And that's something to really think about. So what I'm basically saying is that you have to work every day on your health. You have to make healthy habits part of your lifestyle just to maintain your health. And at some point in time, you have to accept that maybe your health isn't going to be as good as it was when you're 18. You know, when you're 110 years old, which is an age human beings are designed to live to, by the way, 110 and beyond. Every human being should be able to live to be 100 if they do the right things. You know, even if you live to be 110 and you do all the right things, you're probably not going to have all the health that you had at 18. You have to accept that. But the idea of working on your health every day and making it that bit better, or trying to make it better, is such a valuable skill, and it pays off because you feel good. You don't feel shit. You don't have to really go to the doctor. You don't have to take drugs that give you side effects and could kill you. Look at what iatrogenic death is, you know, where drugs interact badly together and result in death, or someone has an operation and they die as a result of it because the surgeon, you know, cocked up, or there was complications afterwards. Why put yourself in a situation where you need that kind of thing? You know, God forbid you have a car crash and you bleed into death. The modern medicine's a wonderful thing because they can save you where you'd have bled to death in the olden days. But in terms of all these diseases that we mostly give ourselves, like heart disease, diabetes, that kind of thing, you know, if people lived healthily, we wouldn't get as many of those things. So let me give you a few tips, a few things that are so obvious that many people do to improve their health, that really everybody should do. And in my opinion, these are the kinds of things that kids should be taught from a really young age. Like I'm not teaching my 1.5-year-old because he doesn't fucking get it, does he? You know, one minute he's pushing my daughter's pram around the kitchen, the next minute he's watching TV, and the next minute he's banging on the fridge door because he's hungry. That's a 1.5-year-old. But my daughter, she's nearly 4, and she's starting to get some of these things. She understands that it's smart to drink water. And she knows not to drink tap water. She knows to drink glass bottled water, because you can't drink plastic water, because then you're drinking a load of plastic that leaches into the water, and then it's going to fuck up your hormone levels, make your estrogen go through the roof, your testosterone go down the drain, which if you're a man is going to feminize you. It's going to contribute towards you getting man boobs and a soft belly and a dick that doesn't work. So she gets that 4 years old, and she isn't being taught at school. She gets it because I've told her. And then it's like, well, you know, why don't people eat more fruits and vegetables and eat more natural foods? You know, it's simple stuff that a lot of people, in fact, probably the majority of people know they should be doing, but they make up excuses in their own mind as to why it's too hard or too difficult or too this or too that to not do it. So instead they go and, you know, they eat at restaurants or they eat at fast food joints, and they don't eat anything natural, and they pay a price. You know, their digestion's bad, their energy's poor, they're constantly getting ill. So, you know, drinking water, great idea. Drinking anything else, not so great, unless it's fresh juice. If you have a juicer at home and you're willing to like juice cucumbers and celery and carrots and apples, that's great. But as a rule of thumb, water's a thing people should be drinking. And in terms of eating, you need to be eating your fruits and veg, eating natural foods, making sure you're getting healthy fats in your diet, like coconut oil, grass-fed beef, wild Alaskan salmon, egg yolks, that kind of thing. Olive oil, avocado, those kind of things. So that's like what's going in your mouth. What else should you be doing to improve your health? Well, you know, there's loads of really advanced stuff out there, but there's no point talking about the advanced stuff till you're getting the basics right. So the other thing would be everybody, you, me, and the next person should be exercising every day. Like people sometimes I say that and people are like, Adam, how can I exercise every day? And it's like, I don't know your lifestyle, figure it out. Everyone's got time to go for a 10-minute walk. Like, don't tell me you don't have time for a 10-minute walk. Because I've read like biographies of some of the richest people in the world who are busy beyond belief, busier than you and I could imagine, and many of them still find time to exercise. You know, they just fit it in because they know it's the right thing to do. And if you look at kids, like I look at my kids, they're always playing. Even when they watch TV, they can't focus on the TV for more than 10 minutes before they're rolling around on the floor and crawling and running around and screaming and throwing their arms in the air. So kids know that movement is one of the keys to being alive. And if you look at people as they get older, they stop moving. So like exercise is a good way to keep moving, to keep your joints working, to make yourself strong, you know? So you got to exercise, even if it's just a 10-minute walk a day. I don't really want to hear anyone say they don't have time for a 10-minute walk, because I refuse to believe it. I think everyone can fit in a 10-minute walk. If you want to play sports or do strength training or, you know, whatever, something more physical for longer, that's great. But I think everyone can do a 10-minute walk every day. So you got your liquids, you got your food, you got your exercise. What else? Well, the other big thing is sleep. You know, I read a study that said that something like 85% of American men were dissatisfied with the quality of their sleep. So that's like 85 out of 100 people sleep badly, you know. And I've been through phases of my life where I've slept really well and phases where I haven't. You know, I've got 2 kids now who are 1 and 4. The 1-year-old disrupts the sleep. There's no doubt about it. He still wakes up sometimes in the night and wants a feed. So I know what it's like. There's a big difference between getting 7 or 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep every night versus broken sleep or versus only having 5 or 6 hours. And a lot of people burn the candle at both ends. They want to go out partying, or they just want to stay up late watching TV, and then they have to get up early for work the next day, and they don't realise the effect this has. Like, let's say for you, as a human being, the optimal amount of sleep that you need to feel your best, to be the healthiest, to have the most energy, to be the most productive, successful human being you can be, let's say it's like 8 hours a night. And you might say, well, I'm only averaging 7. And you might think, well, yeah, 7's pretty good, it's nearly 8. But that's an hour a day. Add that up over the course of a year. It's 365 hours of missed sleep. Add that up over the course of a decade, over the course of 10 years. Imagine what that's doing to you. Like, your body, you know, it rests and recovers, it repairs itself, it heals itself. It fights things off, it makes you stronger when you sleep. So you really need to sleep well. And, you know, to sleep well, you've got to have a good mattress, and you've got to make sure your bedroom's pitch black and cool. You know, it's beyond the scope of this video to go too much into sleep, but those 3 things are big. You've got to have a comfortable mattress. You've got to have a pitch black bedroom with like blackout blinds, and you've got to make sure it's cool. Hot bedroom's no good. You get too sweaty, it wakes you up. And then the final thing I'll tell you about lifestyle, you know, like a health practice that you should engage in, especially in today's 21st century world, is something to reduce your stress levels. Because I didn't really realize this until about a year ago. I didn't really realize the underlying stress and anxiety I was feeling on a daily basis. And when I say underlying, it was like, to anyone else, I look like a really calm, centered guy. But what I realized was, when I was sat down writing like a report or recording an audio series, there was always this feeling of like, I got to get this done. There's not enough time. Do it now. Stress. That's how I was. And then I worked on some things to reduce my stress levels. And what I realized was, now when I approach a piece of work, I can sit down and approach it calmly, and I'm actually even more productive. The stress and anxiety doesn't help. And when you're hooked on like refined sugar and caffeine, that is creating stress in your body, which manifests itself as a fake energy. So you feel energized, but you know, in your heart, you know it's not true energy. Because if it was true energy, it'd be steady and even all day long. The fact is, it isn't. You eat something sugary, you get a burst of energy. An hour later, you crash, you need more sugar. Same with caffeine. You drink your coffee, you feel great for half an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is for the individual. Then you crash, you need more. Whereas if you have real health and energy, your energy is more even all day long. So as far as reducing your stress levels, what can you do? Well, I told you one of the bigger ones near the start of this video. If you have a job that you hate or really dislike like I did, get rid of it. And I know people will watch this and they'll go, oh, Adam, it's easy for you to say blah, blah, blah. It wasn't fucking easy for me to do or say at all. If you knew what I had to go through to be able to quit my job in the property company, to be able to start a new business with a few £100 to my name, like virtually no money to my name and nothing to live off, you'd realise there was a price to be paid. You know, the price to be paid back then was really long working hours to make sure I could make money and get at least a reasonably decent income as soon as I could. So if you have a job you hate, trust me, it's killing you. It's killing you. Especially as a man, you need a purpose in this life. You need a meaning. You need a mission. Like, my mission is to teach men to be better women, better men, so that they can have better relationships with women and enjoy a better sex life. That's my mission. It makes me buzz. Did it make me buzz to go around collecting rent off people who hadn't paid their rent? No, I fucking hated it. It was just stressful. So if you have a job you hate, or even a job that you're like that about, you know, you need a new job because it's causing you stress. Trust me. You replace that job with something that fires you up and motivates you and that you're passionate about, and your stress levels will go down massively. Other things, getting the 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night is a big deal to lower your stress levels, as is not putting junk in your body like caffeine and sugar and processed food and fast food. Putting good food in your body, that helps. But there's other stuff you can do. You could go get a massage, you could do some stretching, you can do easy exercise, all those sorts of things, listening to relaxing music, watching comedy, all those things reduce your stress levels. So let me recap what I've said in this video. We've said that health is the number one key to success, because when you have a high level of health, you have a lot of energy, real energy, and you can be very productive. And that energy and productivity can be channeled into the other two major areas of your life, your financial life and your relationships and love life. And you'll never experience as much financial success as you want or as much sexual and relationship success as you want unless you work on your health. And the 5 simplest things you can do for your health are: drink plenty of water every single day, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, loads of healthy fats, and natural foods. Emphasize natural foods, not processed foods, not stuff in tins and packets and fast food. Exercise every day, even if it's just a 10-minute walk. Everybody can find 10 minutes. Figure out what enough sleep is for you and commit to trying to get that sleep every night. And then finally, do some things to reduce your stress levels, including getting a new job or career or starting a new business if what you currently do to earn money really doesn't do anything for you. So I hope you found value in this video, and if you want to know more, please visit thenewalpha.com. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button below. Then hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, because that will give you notification when I release a new video. Also, hit the like button, and then in the comments section, leave a question, give me a feedback, or even tell me if you think I missed anything in this video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.